During the last couple of weeks, I tested the new Amazfit Balance 2. Amazfit watches are becoming increasingly popular because while traditional sports watches from Garmin, Polar, soon to Ocoros are entering higher and higher price ranges and traditional smartwatches are becoming more and more expensive as well, Amazfit is going a bit against this trend and offers more and more exciting alternatives at affordable prices. One example of this was the Amazfit Balance, which combined a huge set of features with a strong battery life. And at $200 to $300 it was significantly cheaper than the competition. That's why I and surely many others have been very curious to see what the new Amazfit Balance 2 would bring. I've been testing the watch extensively over the past few weeks, wearing it during all my training sessions and basically just 24/7. In this video I'll show you all of the new features and as always walk you through the pros and cons so that you can decide if this is the right watch for you. And before we dive in, I'm happy to share with you that I'm now also active on Instagram. I already told you about this on my review of the Amazfit Helio strap, and I will tell you again, you can now find me on Instagram as well to get some behind the scenes in-depth insights into all of my reviews, as well as some impressions of some of the adventures and challenges I take on. Like for example, this year I hiked to the Mount Everest base camp in Nepal, and I will definitely share some insights from this adventure on my Instagram page, and I will leave the link to this in the video description below. But now let's dive into this review of the Amazfit Balance 2. Have fun! In terms of looks, the Balance 2 is quite similar to the first generation Balance. The case now has a diameter of 47.4mm and is 12.3mm thick, making the watch a bit larger and thicker overall. The weight has also increased, it's now 40 grams without the strap and about 60 grams with the strap. I think the watch fits nicely on my 185mm circumference wrist, but for people with smaller wrists, this increase in size might be noticeable. It's definitely thicker than the original Balance, but not overly bulky or anything like that. In terms of size, it's comparable to the mid-sized Garmin Fenix 8 or the Garmin Forerunner 970. The frame is made from an aluminum alloy and the rest of the housing is made from fiber-reinforced polymer. So it's not quite as rugged as, say, the Amazfit T-Rex 3, which uses stainless steel, but in return it's lighter and more suitable for daily wear. That said, the watch has become a bit more durable compared to the first Balance. It now offers 10 ATM water resistance compared to 5 ATM before, and most importantly, the display is now protected by sapphire glass. The display itself hasn't changed much. It's still a 1.5-inch full-color AMOLED display with a resolution of 480x480 pixels. However, the peak brightness has increased from 1500 nits to now up to 2000 nits. To be honest, the display on the first Balance was already excellent, so there wasn't much that needed improving here. As of now, the watch is only available in one version, a silver case with a black 22mm silicone strap. However, the standard package also includes a second band, what Amazfit calls the lava strap, which is this reddish or orange strap here that you can see I use on my watch as well. You can operate the watch using the touch screen, but there are also two buttons on the side of the case. The upper button also functions as a rotating crown. So what exactly can you do with it, and what are the hidden features inside the watch? Let's take a closer look. An exciting new feature of the Balance 2 is the so-called biocharge score. In the previous Balance 1 we already had the readiness score, which is also included here again. This is a score between 0 and 100 that indicates how ready you are for the day. As I mentioned in my review back then, I often didn't quite agree with this readiness score. However, I think it has improved now, so the score definitely reflects my own perception better. However, the readiness score is only updated once a day, right after waking up, and does not adjust to the day's activities. That's why we now also have the biocharge score, which is dynamic. This score acts like a kind of a body battery and is designed to help understand how our energy levels change throughout the day. After a restful night, for example, the biocharge score is charged and then adjusts throughout the day based on training sessions, stress levels and rest periods. Intense workouts or high stress will cause the biocharge score to drop, while rest and recovery help it increase again, especially during sleep. Interestingly, the biocharge was largely in sync with the body battery on my Garmin Venue X1, so the values are definitely not random, they seemed pretty plausible. Of course, the watch also includes detailed sleep tracking covering key data such as sleep quality, sleep phases, resting heart rate, HRV, breathing and more. Even daytime naps can be recorded. In general, the watch continuously tracks heart rate, stress levels, skin temperature, and blood oxygen saturation. If your readings are unusually high or low, the watch can also alert you, and you can also follow guided breathing exercises directly on the device. One feature missing here is the ECG, so you can't record an electrocardiogram on the wrist with the Amazfit Balance 2. For training, you can choose from over 170 different sport modes, including various running, cycling and swimming modes, indoor workouts and much more. There is something here for virtually everyone, even chess, kite flying or tug of war are included. Amazfit is also an official partner of Hyrox, the increasingly popular hybrid sport combining endurance running and strength training. So there is also a dedicated Hyrox mode on the watch. During strength training, exercises and repetitions can be automatically detected. For classic exercises like bench press, triceps pushdowns or biceps curls, this worked well in my testing. For more exotic movements, the detection wasn't as reliable, but you can manually adjust it afterward. The rep counting was surprisingly accurate, and after workout you'll also see which muscle groups were trained. Golfers will also be pleased to know that the watch includes pre-installed golf course maps. You can zoom in and view detailed course information. There were also many golf-specific features, which I, to be honest, personally didn't test because I'm not a big golfer. During workouts, all the standard data like pace, heart rate and so on are recorded, and beyond that, some advanced metrics are also available. Here's an example of a training session in the app after it's been recorded with the watch. You'll see a summary of all tracked data, for running for instance, the route, pace graphs, heart rate zones, and also running power in watts, which the watch can track directly from the wrist, which is a notable feature. It can also measure cadence, stride length, vertical oscillation, ground contact time, and calculate aerobic and anaerobic training effects, all of which are quite impressive for a watch at this price point as well. You'll also see your training load and get a suggested recovery time. For training analysis, there is also a new tool for measuring exertion. At the top we see the daily exertion load with a brief description, the activities of the current day and a training suggestion for the day. And further down there are more tools divided into fatigue level and fitness level. Fatigue level represents your acute training load, which is today's effort compared to your average effort over the last 7 days. Fitness level refers to your chronic training load, so your longer term effort. From these two values, your training status or training stress balance is calculated. This shows you how well your body is adapting to your current training. It's essentially the difference between chronic load, so the fitness level, and acute load, so the fatigue level. If your status is around 0, your training load is balanced. If it's positive, your training is currently light, and if it's negative, your load is higher than usual. Ideally, you want to stay in a slight negative range where you're consistently challenging your body without overtraining. This is all explained clearly in the app again. From my experience, these training analytics values are not 100% mature yet, so sometimes these values seemed way too high or way too low for me, but I have to say that during the last couple of years, these values from Amazfit have become more and more accurate, more and more reliable, and they can definitely give you a good impression of your training status. There is also a field called PAI, which is the Personal Activity Intelligence. This is another score that reflects how active you've been over the last 7 days. The goal is to maintain a score of 100 PAI or higher. You earn PAI by raising your heart rate, mainly through exercise. The more intense your workouts, the faster your PAI increases. You can also see how many PAI points you earned today and how close you are to your next target. At the bottom of the daily summary, you'll also see your weight, which you can enter and adjust manually, your BMI, body fat percentage, and muscle mass. The only value I found inaccurate was the VO2 max. According to Garmin and Ultrahuman, my VO2 max is around 60, but the Amazfit Balance 2 shows 51, which is clearly too low. That's likely because I've worn Garmin and Ultrahuman devices much longer, so they know me better. Ideally, you'd measure VO2 max during a max effort test, like an all-out run, and I haven't yet done that with the Balance 2. There is also the option to expand the app using Zap Aura, which is a premium sleep tool that includes more detailed sleep analysis, an AI sleep coach, sleep music, meditations, and more. It costs around $2 to $3 per month, but I personally don't need it and didn't test it in detail. Some songs and ambient sounds are free, and the rest of the app is fully functional and free anyway. You can also download free watch faces via the app, and there is a small app store as well, where you can install additional apps like one for controlling your action cam or add-ons for specific sports. All in all, the variety of sports and fitness features offered by the Balance 2 is more than remarkable, especially considering that this watch is available for under $300. The Amazfit Balance 2 is essentially a hybrid between a sports watch and a smartwatch, so of course smart features are not left out. You can receive notifications from your smartphone on the watch and also take calls. However, keep in mind that the watch does not have its own LTE connection, so unlike the Apple Watch, there is no cellular option that allows you to access the internet without your smartphone. But as long as your phone is connected, you can make phone calls via the watch. The Balance 2 also has a built-in speaker and microphone, so it can play sounds and music directly. You can also store music on the watch with 32 GB of internal storage available. One downside is that the watch does not support music streaming platforms like Spotify, Deezer or Amazon Music, so you are limited to uploading your MP3 files manually. However, Amazfit includes a built-in voice assistant called Zap Flow powered by ChatGPT. You can ask regular questions but also control the watch, like adjusting volume or starting a workout. In my experience, Zap Flow is very responsive and fast, and overall I would say that it's better than most voice assistants found on other smartwatches. Battery life was already a major strength of the original Balance, and with the Balance 2 it's been improved even further. According to Amazfit, the watch now lasts up to 21 days with typical use, previously it was 14, and still up to 10 days under heavy use, this was 7 days before. In high accuracy GPS mode it lasts up to 33 hours and up to 67 hours in power saving GPS mode, both are significantly better than the first Balance as well. This improvement is mostly due to the larger battery, now rated at 658 mAh, while previously it was 475 mAh, which is also where the watch is now bigger, thicker and heavier. Based on my own tests, I can confirm these numbers. I used the watch pretty intensively and it lasts around 10 days for me. In precision GPS mode it loses about 3 to 4% per hour while running, so it would last around 30 hours, which matches Amazfit's official claims as well. Overall, the Amazfit Balance 2's battery life rivals that of almost any competitor. Even the Garmin Fenix 8, rightly considered as one of the best sports watches out there and costing roughly 3 to 4 times the price of the Balance 2, isn't much better when it comes to battery life. Charging is done via this small adapter, which you connect to a standard USB-C cable. Note that the cable isn't included, but most of us likely have one lying around anyway. For tracking health data, the Balance 2 now comes with a new sensor, the Amazfit BioTracker 6.0. This is the same sensor used in the Amazfit Helio strap, by the way, which I reviewed a few days ago. Here you can see the Balance 2's data compared to the chest strap during one of my running sessions. As we can see, both curves are almost identical and the average heart rate also matches very well. So based on my experience, the watch is very accurate when it comes to running, as we can also see here in this second session. During strength training, as with almost all watches, there are greater deviations compared to the chest strap. In this case, the watch was significantly less accurate. However, compared to all the watches I've tested so far, the Balance 2 is definitely above average in this regard. This becomes even clearer in this second workout. Here the Balance 2 was actually very accurate, or at least noticeably more accurate than most other watches. In fact, I haven't tested a single Garmin watch to date that reached this level of accuracy in optical heart rate tracking. Only the Apple Watch was more accurate in my testings, so the Balance 2 really delivered an excellent result here. I also wanted to check how reliable the GPS is. Like its predecessor, the Balance 2 supports dual-band GNSS and can use 6 satellite positioning systems. And according to my tests, the watch is once again very accurate. During runs in the city, it records the route cleanly and reliably. Even on this bike ride where I ventured out into more rural areas, the watch was very precise and didn't cut corners or anything like that. It also passed my extreme test in the forest, where I ran the same narrow forest trail out and back. As we can see, the Balance 2 performed very well, so there's little to complain about when it comes to GPS accuracy. For navigation, you can upload routes via the app and follow them on the watch. The Balance 2 also supports offline topographic maps that can be used without your smartphone. You can load these maps via the app, though unlike Garmin or Coros, Amazfit's app does not currently allow you to create routes directly, so you'll need to use third-party platforms like Strava to generate GPX files, then upload them to the watch. That said, Amazfit's maps have significantly improved over the years. years. You can now see street names, points of interest, contour lines, and much more. There is also a back to start feature. What I really like is how quickly the maps load and how smooth it is to scroll and zoom on them. Compared to Garmin's premium models, these maps are not routeable though, meaning you can't just pick a destination and have the watch calculate a route on the go. Instead, you need to decide on a route beforehand and upload it to the watch. But to be fair, only Garmin watches offer this kind of on-watch route generation. Other brands like Coros, Suunto, Polar, Apple or Samsung also don't support this. So in terms of navigation, the Amazfit Balance 2 is definitely very well equipped for its price class. Alright, so what can we conclude on the new Amazfit Balance 2? I already said that in my review of the original Amazfit Balance as well as the Amazfit TUX 3, but I think that Amazfit offers more and more very exciting and very good alternatives to the usual brands like Garmin, Polar, Suunto or Coros, and while those are becoming more and more expensive, Amazfit really keeps their prices low. The Amazfit Balance 2, available for under $300, once again offers an impressive package. It has a sleek design, an improved premium feel with sapphire glass, a huge variety of fitness and sport features, plenty of smart features, a powerful battery life and offline topographic maps. What's missing includes an ECG functionality, some smart features like music streaming integration and the ability to create routes directly in the app. Still, for this price you'll have a hard time finding another watch that offers this level of value. The Balance 2 is a great hybrid between sports watch and smartwatch and is especially suited for lifestyle focused users. For more rugged outdoor use, Amazfit also offers the TUX 3, which is another great option. But let me know in the comment section down below what you think about the new Amazfit Balance 2. If you found this video helpful or interesting, you could really support me and my work here by giving this video a quick thumbs up, and if you don't want to miss any future reviews, definitely subscribe to this channel and, like I said, follow me on Instagram as well. But for now, thanks a lot for watching and see you in the next one.